So many people in Canada have contacted me through email and chat rooms in particular. Apparently, I just learned this, 30-some-odd% of our website's traffic, which is rightedition.com, comes from chat rooms. Interesting stuff. But anyway, so many of these people are saying, hey, Erin O'Toole has now resigned from the Conservative Party, and you, Brian, you should run to be Prime Minister of Canada. So I had a phone call this morning from a girl I know out of Los Angeles. She's a reporter, and she said, I've been on the chat lines and I see all this stuff. Are you going to run? And I laughed and I said, you're kidding me, right? I mean, look at me. I'm old. And she said, hey, compared to Biden, you're a kid. I said, yeah, okay then, but I'm up in Canada. I don't know. I mean, I don't think people would vote for me. And I thought that would kind of end the conversation, but she got deeper and deeper and she said, why not? So I said to her, I said, well, firstly, you got to drill and look at the Conservative Party in Canada. The word conservative, it's kind of a funny word, but it's a merge of progressive conservatives, PC, and if you're progressive, you're left, and if you're conservative, you're right. That's like saying, when you have under one banner, progressive, conservative, it's like saying virgin hooker, right? And you have these people now that make up the party. And many of the decision makers, in fact, come from the progressive side. So how do you get into a party? How do you run? They would never let me run if I was so inclined, which I'm not. But if I was, I wouldn't pass the test. They would look at me and say, you're kind of right-wing. You're a capitalist. Not very nice. But she kept on with the questions. It was interesting, so it kind of made me think. I said, you know what? The leader, he's a big part of it. I get it. But the bigger part is the party. The party is not right-wing. They're not conservative. The party lines are blurred. They're much more liberal than they are conservative. And she said, well, what would you do? What would you change if you were, in fact, the leader? And I said, well, if I was the leader and actually became the prime minister, first thing I would do is that I'd sell all the government assets, pay the debt down, and reduce the taxes. I would have fixed election dates, and I would have all kinds of freedoms restored and get government out of business. And then she said, oh, pardon me, you can't run anyway. You don't speak French. I said, come on. 95% of Canadians don't speak French, and certainly 95% of them speak English. I said, that's another goofy thing. Somebody needs to run for the party and say, I don't speak your language, so listen up in English. If I did learn French, like most people who do run, and if they're going to run, they learn it, French people laugh at us anyway. You want to get mocked? Not really. I mean, because our accent would be terrible. So I don't know. There's a whole list of things, of course, that I would do, but I ain't going to run. But it's kind of nice, I guess, that so many people are asking that, as in hundreds of people on these chat lines. One guy said, look in the mirror, and I did, and I saw this terribly old guy. But anyway, whatever. Trudeau, he's now reintroducing the 2021 bill that sought to regulate free speech on the internet. That's another socialist piece of his agenda. It's not even socialist anymore. It's dictatorship. It's bad. This is Hitlerish stuff that's going on. So, of course, when I do read this stuff, I read it, I think somebody like me does need a run. Somebody who can get in there and kind of smack somebody around and say, for heaven's sakes, do this. Another thing, back to my friend in Los Angeles, she said, what would you do? It's good pay. And I said, look, if I did it, I would never accept pay. I would only do one term. I just kind of want to, what's that term? I heard it once. What is it? The swamp. Clean the swamp out. Ottawa, Canada, they got a big, big swamp. But you know what? In Canada, there is one party, the Wild Rose Independence Party. They're working at this in their own way, but I want to show you a clip here. It's kind of hard to see. It's cold up in Fort McMurray. There's a by-election coming up here within the next 60 days, and the leader of the party, Paul Hindman, he's door-knocking saying, hey, I'm running, and vote for me, please, and we're about separating from Canada. We're a capitalist party. We have all these new and fresh ideas, but it's an abusive relationship, Alberta and Canada, and we're going to leave the relationship. We've been to counselors, we've done all of that, and we thought we'd stay for the kids, but now we're going to leave for us, and the kids are growing up and going anyway, and they speak English at cha-cha. You get the point, right? And so he's door knocking. I asked him one day, how you doing? And he said, I'll send you a video. This is one street. I counted the signs in that video. There's 9 signs on a short street. And he's getting tons of support. It's actually amazing what's going on up there. 20 below, 25 below. Knock, knock. Paul, froze right up, don't you know? But it's working. What a movement. I mean, if that happens at Fort McMurray, Jason Kennedy, your O'Toole replacement, whoever you may be, and certainly the Prime Minister of Canada, come out of the ether and pay attention. You got to give freedom to the people. You can't keep abusing people and expect to still be invited to their party, you know. Party. I didn't mean political party. I meant the other one. Hey, y'all come back. See ya.